I grew up in Iran,
Right.
and I was born on Mehr B'Shishom, October 1878.
Mm-hmm.
Another kid was born a month after me. We grew up like this. That kid, good family. Both parents are doctors. They did very well. One is a doctor. The mother was an accountant. Brilliant. Very good families. And as we were coming up, I knew I wasn't going to get anything from my parents. They didn't have money. They just brought me to America. My dad was a, worker, 99-cent store in Inglewood, California. My mother she's never worked for as long as I've known her. Homemaker. We came here.
Why did you come, though? Like, what was the reason?
Khomeini died. 6 weeks later, we escaped. June 3rd, 89, when he died, we escaped 6 weeks
But I'm
later.
saying, why did you, if you weren't, like kind of one of those
Christian
oligarchical
family.
families under the Shah, a Christian family?
We're a Christian family.
Right.
My mom didn't feel safe. I was about to turn 12. She didn't want me to serve the military in Iran, and she said, we got to leave. My dad agreed. We went to Germany, refugee camp, Erlangen, in Nuremberg, 18 months, and we came here November 28th, 1990. But here's where I'm going. That kid grew up. The parents built a good business. The kid knew the parents had to give the business eventually to the kid. And the kid's like, listen, you guys better take care of my business because it's mine. Mm-hmm. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was almost like an entitled kid because they only had one kid.
Right.
Do you know that's the reason why I don't believe you should ever have anything less than 3 kids? I think you should have 3 kids because if it's only one, guess how they feel? They own you. And I do think there's an element of Israel that is the only child in the Middle East. U.S. made that mistake by having the only child in the Middle East. I don't know if this is making sense, the point I'm making.
No, I understand the point.
The point I'm trying to say is you negotiated this, America. You put yourself in this situation. And I think what Trump is trying to do, which maybe none of these other guys previous to him have done, correct me if I'm wrong, this is your world, is when you have an only child, you don't have a choice. You kind of got to figure it out, or else go raise 2 other kids that match your values and principles and pin them against each other. Meaning, if you see what Trump is doing with Canada, he pushes Mexico, or he pushes China, he pushes Russia, he puts sanctions on Russia. You better not do the oil deal. The biggest oil companies in China that buy oil, they're like, we're suspending it because of sanctions. And then he's able to pin them against each other, but he's trying to find somebody else to pin against Israel, to hold Israel accountable. And I think he's doing that in the way he did with Qatar, when he's like, why'd you shoot up that place? You better come out and apologize. I think that phone call was made. Do you think that phone call was made? When he said, you better apologize to Qatar.
Oh, for sure. No, he was enraged.
He was enraged. But the part where I'm going to is I think they handed him, you have one child in the Middle East. Go make it work. And there's a community of people saying, screw Israel, screw this, screw that. You can't. It's the only child. Wait till you build a couple other children, then let them compete against each other.
I totally get that theory. It's coherent and it makes sense. And I think there's some truth to it as well, except after the 1967 war and then the 1973 Yom Kippur War, Nixon was the first to change these policies. He became very close to the Arab world, or closer. And then, obviously, we have had an extremely close relationship with the Saudis for decades. Even after 9/11, when they were by far the country most involved, or certainly with the greatest proximity to the hijackers, George Bush helped the Saudis who were in the country get out. He continued to have a very close, the Bush family has been very close to the Saudis for a long time. They're oil people. They have a close relationship. But one of the things that we did is, and I think this is when you count how much we do for Israel, this often doesn't get counted, is we don't just give huge amounts of money to Israel. We also prop up a regime in Egypt that, goes back to Anwar Sadat and then Mubarak and now Sisi. And we prop up the Jordanian royal family as well to keep not just stability in those countries, but also to keep them at bay and not hostile toward Israel. We do have other allies in the region, and I think one of the things Trump is wanting to do, and I think you're right about this, is he wants to expand the scope of American alliances in the region, but he also wants to foster normalization with Israel.
But I think that's fine. So the way I process it is with business, and I'll explain it to you from my perspective. Again, push back when I'm given this perspective. I'm very comfortable with it. Is when at the beginning I had an insurance carrier. I'm running an insurance company. I only had one insurance carrier. I didn't have 4. I didn't have 5. I only had one. And the one that I had was AIG, American General. Uh-huh. And I'm coming up. I'm a newer company. They tell me what they want to do. I can't push back.
You have no leverage.
I don't have any other carriers. So then I go get a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, a seventh. Finally, it normalizes where the negotiation is even. But guess what? I never wanted to lose them because they've been a decent ally to me, and we both needed each other when we got started. I think that's the right way of diplomacy and what he's doing. I think for him to sit there and say, because if I sit there and I think about, you have the best intel, I want access to that intel. Nobody else does a good enough of a job as intel as you in the Middle East. I think that's very valuable to me. How can I use that intel? Now, don't get me wrong. When the argument comes back around and it's, your number one is Epstein. You know what my number one is? What do you think my number one is?
What is your number one?
What do you think my number one is? I want you to take a wild guess.
I'm at a loss. Don't tell
It's
me.
Epstein.
Oh, and so we're in agreement. I
Of course,
thought that.
No,
Yeah.
Epstein's my number one.
All right. So yeah, we hit bingo on
Because
that.
I do believe they've been using blackmail to get information, and that info was being sent to Israel. I do believe all of that stuff happened.
But this is what I'm saying. It's like, if you take this idealistic view of Israel, they give us all this intel. They're like incredibly. You make a better argument. The thing is that the Israelis don't have any sense of loyalty to the United States. The intel they pass to us is often shit. It's deceitful. It's manipulated to get us to do what they want. It's filled with falsehoods. And this is the stuff. I'm not saying just the Israelis do. This is not uniquely evil. This is how the intel world operates. We try and manipulate other countries by saying, "Oh, look what we have here." You know, it's what the Steele dossier was about, right? That's part of that world is deliberate disinformation and lying. The Israelis care about Israel. They are not loyal to the United States, which is fine.
That, we are America first.
We should be.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot more unnatural loyalty to Israel than certainly Israel has to us. And I think it's important not to overlook the reality that many of the most important people in the United States, the people who wield the greatest power, the people who have the most money, the people who are most indispensable to many power centers, are people who have at least as much loyalty to Israel as to the United States, if not more so. You can't ignore that as part of the relationship. There's a manipulated aspect to it.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
No, I know. I'm just saying that has to be part of the formula.
But where I'm going with this is, so I'm sitting there and I'm watching all the criticism that Trump is getting, but I'm also watching what he's doing behind the scenes. I'm also seeing how he's trying to put Netanyahu in his place. And I also see that Netanyahu thinks he can do anything he wants to do with America. Probably he could have done with other presidents in the past, but he's having a hard time with this one guy that's coming in. And this one guy that's coming in is a little bit tougher candidate for him because he has a thing that none of the guys previous to him had. He is so unpredictable, and he can't control him.
Which is why I think above all else the establishment was so had such animosity toward Trump. Exactly what you just said. He's unpredictable.
And I love that.
And what the establishment wants is Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris, people who just are going to be very controlled. Let me quickly add, though, on the one hand, I understand what you're saying. And of course, there has been these stories leaked that, there's this tension between Netanyahu and Trump. But if you look at the actual behavior, Trump in 2024, he went and spoke before this organization when Miriam Adelson, who's his biggest donor.
100 million.
Elon Musk.
Maps, yep.
Yeah, and Trump said, not only we're going to make U.S. great again, and we're going to make Israel great again. That was part of his promise. He also talked about how in his first term, the people who visited him most were Sheldon and Miriam Adelson.
He said that in a speech at...
Before I think it was the Republican Jewish Coalition.
No, I think he said that in a different... I think he said it at UN. I don't know where it was, but it was... I remember the speech that he would come and say, "You realize I'm the president. I'm coming to the White House." What are you talking about?
And then he would come.
Yeah, he would come.
And he would say, these are American citizens, right, scare quotes, and they would come in and they would only want stuff for Israel. That's what Trump said.
Yeah, you're right. That's the speech. You're right. That's, Yes.
And Trump said that they would come in and they would say, "I want this for Israel," and Trump would give it to them. And then like a week later, they'd call back and they're like, "Now I want this." And he'd be like, "Give me a couple weeks. I'll do more for Israel." But I just can't. But he talked about how much he served Israel throughout his. And I think one of the things that is important to remember is that when Trump was running in 2024, he needed to win to stay out of prison. Had Trump not won that 2024 election, he would be in prison for life. And he was willing to do whatever he had to, the way most people would. And one of the people he needed most was Miriam Adelson. And not just her. Bill Ackman and lots of other big donors who care most about Israel. I do think Netanyahu understands, like the White House released that humiliating picture of Netanyahu holding the phone with his, like, while Trump was holding the phone, Netanyahu was on the phone with the Emir of Qatar, reading a script to an apology, right? Like a deliberate attempt to show what the dynamic in the relationship really is.
Do you think that was an act, or do you think he really had to call Qatar and say what he said?
When I see the United States or the Trump administration cutting off aid to Israel when they do things that we don't want, then I will. Yeah, I mean, look at that picture. I mean, look at that picture.
You think that's an act, though? Do you really think in that position who had leverage?
I think this is the thing. This is what I think has changed, is that I think Trump loves. I mean, if you think about Trump.
Yeah.
And what he loves most, even the aesthetic of like the Saudi, this like flamboyant opulence, right? I think Trump loves Qatar, the Emirates, and Saudis genuinely, at least as much as he loves Israel. In fact, I think he's infinitely more comfortable in Dubai than he is in Jerusalem.
Is that a bad thing?
No, it's a good thing. Anything that places Israel more in its place, in its proper place, is a good thing to me. These are terrible countries. I mean, these are hardcore, savage dictatorships. But I don't think the United States should go around the world trying to pick and choose. Hey everyone, I'm Glenn Greenwald. I am a journalist who covers a lot of issues, including civil liberties and foreign policy and the U.S. security state and domestic politics and Brazil. A lot of people don't know, but I know literally everything about tennis, everything, so you can ask me about that as well. And anyone who wants to ask me questions or connect with me, you can do so on Minect. I have a profile there, and I would love to hear from you.
After 2 years of working on this, we have finally pulled it off. And let me tell you what it is. Every time we do the Vol conference, if you've attended, you know this. I stand up and I speak for probably 45 hours is what I do at the Vol conference. And I love it. I love being around the guys. I love it. But I wear the Ferragamo shoes when I do this. Or I wear some kind of dress shoes. Eventually, for the last 25 years, I've always been on stage walking. I'm like, you know what? I'm sick and tired of it. I want a shoe that I'm comfortable wearing. And here's what I love. I don't like shoes that are so heavy. That's a dumbbell. You can use it as a weapon. I don't want that. Like the Xenia, you carry it. I have so many of them, but they're so heavy. Like you can literally curl the Xenia, the shoes, and you'll get a pump within 30 reps. And I wanted the combination of the Hoka, the On Cloud, the Super Foam, because there's a big thing going on right now with the Super Foam where the bottom of the shoe, you wear it. You know which ones I'm talking about, the On Cloud or the Hokas, right? They're so comfortable. And I said, what if we take luxury and then combine it with the super comfort? What would that look like? And let's build it in Italy. So what do? We went to Italy. We designed the shoe in Florida. We made the shoe in Italy in five of the factories. We went back and forth, God knows how many times. And by the way, the shoes we're about to launch and introduce to you right now, where you're going to see the video for the first time, I've been wearing those shoes for the last 22 days straight. I'm wearing them right now. I literally wear it with suits. I wore it yesterday when we went to lunch. I wear it every single day. It's the most comfortable shoes I have, yet it's authentic Italian leather. Rob, if you don't mind playing the video, go for it. Here's the video of the latest shoe, the FLBs. When we set out to create a shoe that blends comfort, function, and luxury, we had the choice to make it fast. We had the choice to make it cheap. We chose neither. Instead, we chose Tuscany, Italy. We chose true Italian craftsmanship, each pair touched by 50 skilled hands. We chose patience, spending 2 years perfecting every detail, and we chose the finest quality at every step. Introducing the Future Looks Bright collection. Not rushed, not disposable, not ordinary. Rather, intentional, luxurious, timeless.
Boom.
There you go. Designed in Florida, 100% made in Italy. 50 hands touch each shoe that was made. And here's what's unique about it. I want to kind of show this to everybody that knows this. And I've worn pretty much every one of these shoes. So if you compare this, the Italian leather, of course, it's made in Italy. It's not assembled, made in China, assembled in Italy, 100% made in Italy, assembled in Italy. It's FLBs, Berlutis, which are $1,840, Ferragamos are $895, Xenias are $1,190, and Gucci's are $950. Leather premium lining, all of them except for Gucci. Laceless feature, it's the FLBs, the Berlutis, you have laces, Ferragamos laceless, and then you have also the Xenias, and then the Gucci's have the laces. I don't want to wake up in the morning, put laces on. I want to get out the house. Took me 3 seconds to put my shoes on today. Craftsman, 5 different Italian factories all made this shoe. Berluti's are the same as us, as well as FLB. But the only shoe, these trainers, the only one in the world today, according to the factories that told me this in Italy, that has the super foam, the only one that has the same super foam used in the On Clouds and the Hokas, it's the FLBs, and they're officially out, and you can place the order. Here's a challenge. We only have 1,000 of these pairs. And when you say 1,000 of these pairs, they start from size, I believe, is it 8? It goes 8, 9, 10, 10 and a half, 11, 11 and a half, 12, 13. Those are the sizes that we have. And the shoes that you can get today, the colors, you have access to, Rob, if you can go back there, you can have access to those browns, which is absolutely beautiful. And by the way, the brown on the bottom, the stitching on the side is a left stitching. If you can change the picture, and on the bottom it says the future looks bright. Look at the white lines on the side. It's beautiful. The only ones we have right now that you can get sent out today are the black and the browns. If you do want the white to pre-order, I would highly recommend you do so. They're going to come out the second week of December. So the white and the navy blue comes out the second week of December. The browns and the blacks are available. If you believe the future looks bright as much as we do, go place the order. There's nothing like sitting in the boardroom with your trainers and you put your feet over your knee and people look at the bottom of your shoe and it says future looks bright. That's how you get deals done. All right, so they're out. I'm excited to announce it, and I'm very happy for people to go sport it. When you get them, take pictures, send it our way. We're going to show all these shoes, all the pictures that are being taken. I already got a bunch of them sent to me on Instagram. Go to vtmerch.com, place your order. It's all over the website. Maybe buy it for your husband, buy it for your brother, buy it for your coworkers, buy it for your best salespeople if you want to let them know the future looks bright. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.